Mahapadevachan. But I'm used to rejection, am I not? With bravado in my heart, I approached a popular Kannada publishing house called Manohara Granthamala, whose legendary founder G.B. Joshi was known for giving newcomers a break. Among the authors who had started out this way were Girish Karnad and M.K. Indra. I spoke hesitantly to Mr. Joshi and gave him my manuscript, who said that he would contact me within 2 days. 48 hours later, I was impatient and tense. My feelings at the time were somewhat similar to going through labor during pregnancy. Finally, he informed me that he would publish my manuscript. He never spoke of royalty, and I did not ask for it. That day, my family and I celebrated as if I had become a prominent author already. Nevertheless, it was a first. I was the first author in my family of a 75 first and second cousins, aunts, and uncles. Much like a pregnancy, the book took 10 months to reach the market. When I heard of this development, I took a bus from Hubli to Dharwad to accept my first branch from the publisher and this is the first 20 copies with great affection. I was thrilled. I wondered how I would distribute these copies among my big family. In the end, I gave a few copies to my parents-in-law, a few more to my friends, and kept 3 with myself. The remaining copies were exhausted quickly. Some friends congratulated me and brought boxes of sweets. Others said with pride, "We had no clue that an engineer could turn into a writer too. We were happy." A few remarked, "Even we would have written a book had we gone to America and written, 'You need money to travel and write your book.'" The first book finally gave me the title of being an author and made me want more. In 1979, when I was in Jamshid Bhudan and Bihar for 2 months, I found myself all alone in the company guest house. It was then I conceived the idea for my next book. I came from a middle-class background and was quite fascinated by how rich women led their lives, especially those whose husbands were perpetually busy with business. I decided to use this fascination and some of my imagination for this novel. I returned to Mumbai with this idea still lingering in my mind. When I ran the idea past Mr. Moti, he gave me a blank stare. "I can't help you there. I am afraid I am neither rich nor I am a lady." So that was that. After some thought, I made some inquiries with various colleagues at work and observed the rich women that I could see on Juhu Beach in tow with their children and ayahs. The result of the imagination research led to my first novel, Atrikte, in Kannada. As I wrote it, I allowed myself to enter the lead character's mind and feel the joy and pain of her circumstances. At the end, I have to make an effort to exit from the character's life and return to my own. This began my journey in Kannada literature. This time, I went through another publisher who was located in Mysore. I continued to write. My subsequent novels, however, were rejected. I figured that if I wanted to grab more eyeballs, I might try my hand at writing a series for newspaper. To my surprise, even these were rejected. Some papers did not respond to all, while others said that my writing was not series material. Years passed, and I continued to read avidly. One day I went to a wedding where I saw a young girl with a leukodema sitting in front of me having a meal. Just then someone from the family came and said to her, "You cannot sit here with the others. You have leukodema. Please get up." Humiliated, the girl cried and left immediately. This behavior hurt me. I am the doctor of the doctor. I know that unlike leprosy, leukemia is only a cosmetic disease. It is not contagious and not proven to be a heredity either. Then why do people behave this way with fellow beings? The incident provoked me into undertaking some research. As I spoke to people, I realized that many engagements were broken and marriages called off, especially in cases where one or more of the bride's relatives had the disease, but she did not. I had long chats with the dermatologist and rebelled strongly against this heinous treatment which does nothing but kill confidence. For the first time in my life, I thought of writing about this to create awareness, but in the form of a story. This is how my novel, Mahishweta, was born. Mahashweta was born. Many years later, I was at another wedding. To my pleasant surprise, the groom came up to me and said, "I have read Mahashweta and today I am marrying a girl who has Look at Emma. The book completely changed my perspective. It was the day that I realized that perhaps I could make a difference if I continued to write about the issues I was passionate about. In the 70s and the 80s, going to America was an outstanding achievement. India was not close to liberalization yet, and the number of job opportunities were very low in the country. The American dollar, however, was a magic wand. $1 equaled 10 rupees. People who settled there and came back to India for vacation almost always looked down upon those here. Even the local families differentiated between the children and grandchildren who were in the US and those who stayed here. It was but natural that the wives and daughters who lived in America got much more attention and importance. But I knew by then that life in America was not as green as it was made out of to be. Living there was not devoid of struggles. So I wrote Dollar Bahu, or Dollar Shoes in Kannada. The manuscript first became a series in a newspaper, then a book, and then a television series. It was even translated into Italian along with other Indian languages. Today it is still widely available in bookshops. My journey with Kannada continued, and the thought of writing in English didn't even cross my mind. The year 1980 marked my very first book launch for Atlantica Dutch India. The event was held at a Mayo Hall in Bangalore. To me, it was like a small wedding signifying the marriage of my book to the publisher. I invited many people. All kith and kin of literature came for the lunch, including some of my wonderful friends who couldn't even read Kannada. But they loved me and were proud of the fact that I was an author. One of them gifted me a silver idol of Saraswati, the goddess and the symbol of knowledge. For the first time, and what I thought may also be the last, I stood on stage, spoke to my readers, and expressed my love for books and Kannada. Little did I know that this would be the first of many public events. One day, T.J.S. George, the editor of the New Indian Express, sent word that I should write my columns in English. He simply said, "A language is but a vehicle. It's the person inside who is weaving the story that's more important. You are a storyteller. So just get on with your story and the language will fall into place." With these kind words and encouragement, I began writing in English. My columns named Episodes started to appear in the New Indian Express on 12th November 2000. I was in Shimoga the day I heard someone in a hotel say, "Sudha Modi has written a column in English." Instantly, I was elevated to being an English writer by a stranger. It took me some time to believe that people wanted to read my columns. The journey continued with other avenues like the Times of India, the Hindu, and the Week. One advantage of writing in English was that it led to me to form friendships with people from different states and walks through life. One of those turned out to be the late President APJ Abdul Kalam. This was 2001 and he was not our president yet. He was a scientist at the Defense Research and Development Organization. He happened to read one of my columns in the Week, an Indian news magazine, and said that humor in my writing was nice and the message strong. He asked how I had learned the art of ending an article with the gist of the story and expressed interest in meeting me. A year later, my first book in English came out as a collection of my columns thanks to George, who introduced me to the East West Books Private Limited in Chennai. George, with his genuine encouragement, wrote the foreword for the book and gave it an enchanting title, Wise and Otherwise. I realized that when a book is released in English, it is read by more people and translations into regional languages happen more easily. Today, my books have been translated into all major Indian languages and are read in most states of India. As the years passed, the Infosys Foundation's work provided me with experience that enlarged my canvas even as writing continued. I approached many publishers who rejected my manuscript. They said, "Your language is too simple. It's not flowery or sophisticated and comes across to simple and even naive. Our opinion is that people will not appreciate it. If you suggested, you tell your story to someone who has a good command over the English language. They will rewrite it and together you both can co-author." But I didn't agree. I want to keep my style distinctive and portray it exactly what the way I am portrayed. Along the way, I realized the importance of a good editor, someone who can take the book to greater heights. Mahaparivacha.